All right, Emmett. So for your final project, you kind of took that idea of the 108 assignment, a day in the life, and you built it out to be a day in the life of your sister. So the way that assignment is set up in PH 108 is that it's a day in the life of a town. And here you're just kind of flipping that and making it about the person. So this was a good approach for this assignment. You said it wasn't your first instinct to do this, but I actually think it was a really smart idea. And first, we want to look at the technical side of things. So, looking at all of these images, you have good exposure on all of your images. The amount of light hitting the image sensor looks good. As I click through them, we can see you kept your ISO reasonable for all of these, between 250 and 400. Some of the images have a little bit of camera shake or motion blur from your sister moving. So that's one technical aspect to be aware of. Like this image, we can see that the book is sharp, but she, I think, moved a little bit as you were photographing her. And then here, it looks like maybe the vacuum was still, but there's a little bit of camera shake looking at her. She's not totally sharp. And then there's some other images where it looks like you just missed your focus. And this is a good example of that, where the sharpest point is probably her foot here, but the dogs fall out of focus and her face falls out of focus. So you miss that critical point of focus. And that's also happening. Where is she looking? Here. At this image where we have the computer in focus, but your sister's out of focus. So I just think that's something for you to continue to work on as you're photographing, making sure that you're setting your point of focus and you're guiding the viewer with that point of focus. So we're looking exactly where you want us to be looking. The light in your images, it seems like something that you're aware of. You're like here, the light on the top of her cheeks is really beautiful. Here, it looks like there's a window that's allowing some light in. Even here, as you're photographing at night indoors, you don't have this really hard light coming across her face. Rather, you have her face is a little bit shadowed from that. So we're not having that harshness come across her face. So I think you did a nice job photographing indoors at night and controlling your lighting. Now the color is something that really helps lead us through these images. So her shirt is always the same color, or her shorts are that color. So it really brings some cohesion to the images when we're either looking at her in this like burnt orange shirt, so we know we're looking at the same person. There's no question even when we can't see her face. And then we move to that same color on her shorts. The other thing that I notice is that yellow in the background, this bright yellow circle, bright yellow wall, and then even here you have the bright yellow as a towel that she's wearing. So I feel like the cohesion visually with color is working really well for you. The composition in most of these is really nice as well. You've changed your point of view, your angle of view in many of them, getting low as you're photographing from the street, looking towards your sister, giving her a lot of space to move forward, getting on her level here, getting like you're having lunch with her straight across from her in this image, just changing your angle of view so there's interest in all of the images. You use a frame within a frame for that first image as she's curling her eyelashes. You kind of use the food to lead us to create a line to move us back to her. Here she's the only organic shape around all of these squares of boxes. So it seems that you're very aware of how you're composing each image. The one thing I want you to be aware of is where the brightest point in your images are. So in image number 2, it's what's on the table. Image number 3, it's the box that she's looking into. Image number 5, it's the top of the vacuum. Image 6, it's a computer screen. So just watching that you're using that brightest point in the image as a guide for us to get to the narrative of the story. Overall, this is a really strong final project for you. Your exposure is looking good, visual cohesion is looking good. You're definitely creating a story, a narrative. You're communicating something with your images. The cohesion of the color of the dogs, whether or not we're actually seeing the dogs in these two, or we're seeing images of the dogs here, like that. Visually, everything's really coming together, and it seems that you took great care to put that together. So really excellent job on your final project here, Emmett.